So let's take a listen to the Deep End demo. My computer tells me that this was started 10/1/2023. And I think what I'll point out is the similarities to what we hear in the final song before we take a listen to the final song. Really just to show how the song was completely constructed before we went into the studio, and what was done there just improves upon everything that the idea originally was. So I'll kick it off with the intro here. Same idea. Obviously, we went with a slightly different tone on the end recording, but you know, the general concept of the song's all there. I muted the verse vocals because they were very much scratch vocals, but you can hear when the instruments come in. You know, everything was just a lo-fi version of what the final song ended up being. So verses are the same. Let's take a listen to the chorus and I'll let you hear the vocals on this one. So there you go. Same concept. Sounds like I had a cold when I was putting that together, but yeah, the idea was there. The one funny thing to listen to is these fills. So obviously when I'm putting together a demo, I put together a really stiff version of what I think the drum should be. And obviously that's improved upon once we get to the studio. But where we have these big fills, I just kind of programmed in something really repetitive and just to give kind of a springboard idea. But let's take a listen to what those sound like. So that's the idea of the demo. Again, when we put together a demo, or when I put together a demo, the thought process is let's get as much of the song done and recorded in terms of like the idea and the arrangement, so that when we get to the studio, it's all finding the right tones and then adding in extra fun things and cool ideas. But if you don't have the bass arrangement down, you're not going to have room to be creative in the studio. So now let's take a listen to the final song and break that down a little bit. So now we can take a listen to the recorded components that make up what you hear in Deep End. I'm going to try to skip over some of the technical details that I went through in the Save Your Breath breakdown, but chances are I'm going to repeat myself in some cases, so bear with me. Because it's the first thing we hear in the song, I am also going to start with guitars on this one. And we'll take a listen to just the clean reverby guitar that kicks off this song here. So this was a Fender Strat, I think from the 70s, played through a high watt amp with the reverb turned up, and it sounded just great as recorded. We didn't do a lot of crazy effects. There's not a ton of processing. The sound that we got recorded from this guitar was perfect for this song. It did take us a couple tries to get the right guitar and amp combination, but once we got it, you know, it's the foundation of the song, repeats throughout both verses, and was really what I came up with that kind of started and kicked off the whole idea of what this song was. So let's let that roll and then hear the vocals from the verses come in and kind of see how that all plays together.
Welcome to the unknown. A generation turned to stone. Double parked on the crossroads. Big cities never more.
So you can hear right off the bat, the song kind of kicks into the main idea of the song that, you know, it kind of feels like we're all living in a bit of a disconnected world at the moment. You know, welcome to the unknown. generation turned to stone. We're all trying to find ourselves amongst that. And it really, I guess a song covering that topic kind of has to be a little sad and somber, but the song eventually turns into something where it's more of like a fight song, and you're trying to like fight through it, find your own, truth amongst that chaos. So the next things we hear come in are the drums. Again, recorded by Alex Garcia Rivera at Mad Oak Studios, and they sound great. And when they kick in, kind of just sets that groove. Once the chorus kicks in, as I talked about in Save Your Breath, I do my trick where I have my typical 2 rhythm guitars, one on each side, but also bring in the third darker guitar right up the middle. One thing I'll mention, and why I stopped at this transition, is there's actually 2 sets of guitars, one set in the verse, and then the next set that comes in the chorus. And this is for 2 reasons. One, I wanted a different tone in the guitars in the verse than I did in the chorus. In the verse, they're a little more muted, a little darker, and then when the chorus kicked in, I wanted everything to explode, get real bright and in your face. And on top of that, you can see that these guitar tracks actually overlap. So I really purposefully wanted these chorus guitar tracks to come over the verse guitar tracks and kind of just rip your attention away right at this point. So I made a very pointed request / demand to record these types of guitars on separate tracks just so we could keep this effect in. And on top of that, the verse guitars are not fully panned left and right. So each of those is panned about 70% left and right. And then when it gets to the chorus, it's 100% left and right. So you're kind of just expanding your entire sonic view of the song. And this, again, was a very strict demand that I made about the recording of these. Let's take a listen to these chorus guitars, just because I love listening to them so much. I love that tone so much. Again, on the left and right side is my Les Paul Jr. through a classic Marshall JMP amp. Up the middle, the darker guitar is a Les Paul Standard through a Mesa Boogie amp. And again, we'll just take a listen to that to see how it contrasts. Darker up the middle just sets the foundation, expands the frequency range in the chorus. Well, I'm already there. I think next thing that come in, or next elements that we pull into the song, are backing vocals that come into play in the second verse. Let's take a listen to these and see what they add to this portion of the song, and then roll through the chorus.
Long walk on the back roads, no destination in your mind. Put on regrets as the dress code. Spend the weekend making up for time.
So you can hear the doots doubled left and right, the main lead vocal up the middle, and then a harmony on the left side of your speaker. And then when the chorus comes in, there's both my lead vocal up the middle, a double of that lead vocal, and then 3 sets of oohs that are going on in the background. So let's take a listen to that.
You said a lot till the end is all you can imagine, but I'm gasping for air. You say just don't look down, what's the worst that could happen? Well, I'm already there.
Cool. So again, I love backing vocals. Just add a lot of texture to the song and really just fill out some of the space, especially those oohs in the chorus kind of make that soaring feeling that I talked about with the guitars true in the vocal space as well. All right, so let's take a listen to some more guitars in the bridge section.
We seen it, we dreamed it, all just to hear that it's all a sacrifice. I dreamed it, I screamed it, and now it's clear that I'm falling out of
line. That solo section is a Les Paul standard through a hi-hat with a distortion pedal. Sounds really cool. And then at the halfway point, you get these octaves that also come over to mesh with the rhythm guitars. And I really like how this second half of the solo kind of fits together. Cool. So next is the break, and I will play this full throttle, and then I will hone in on just the drums. So let's take a listen to what this sounds like all together first.
Not sure how much more we can take. Up from your dream, finally away.
All right, drum fill time. This is where Alex Garcia Rivera comes into play and why I'm always so happy to have him aboard because of moments like this. You heard what I programmed in the demo. I knew I wanted this to be a chaotic moment in the song, kind of the climax of the entire song after we take a left turn after that bridge. You know, you don't expect this section to happen. This isn't verse, chorus, first, chorus. This is a completely new section of the song. And when you have that new section of the song, you get to do all these fun fills, and let's take a listen to what he came up with. Fits the song perfectly. Those fills are exactly what the song needed. And the cool thing is this little section makes a reappearance at the end, and there's an entire new section of fills that come into play there. You know what? And let's just take a listen to what those are now since we got the drum soloed. Really fun. Probably my favorite part of this song. I just love how those all fit into the landscape of, again, that chaos and really trying to power through and break out of the song's subject matter. So let's take a listen to the last chorus and the elements that really make it a final chorus the last time around. A couple things come in right here. There is another set of backing vocals that come in. The 3 oohs turn into 4 oohs, so let's take a listen to just those in this section. Again, not rocket science, but on a final chorus, you really want to say, hey, this is the grand finale. We're going to throw everything at the wall right here. And doing little things like that is something I always think about when I'm arranging a song and trying to put together different parts. You know, I think about what cool things can I add to the last round of the chorus to make it really stand out and feel like a grand finale. The other thing that comes in is a little guitar part here. And maybe let's take a listen to this in context with the rest of the guitars. And then this guitar also makes a reappearance on the outro that we'll hear in 1 second. All right, now that I've exposed all the secrets of the song, let's take a listen to that last chorus, full throttle with everything as recorded. Again, this is before it was mixed, and let's see how that sounds when I left the studio. And that's another one done. The making of Deep End. This was a very fun song to make, just like Save Your Breath. I feel like I could say that about every song on this project, but this one felt different than anything I had written or recorded before. It was new territory in terms of the really soft intro that broke out into this big chaotic barrage of instruments in the bridge, and really excited to kind of get it out, start playing it live a little more, and kind of see how it feeds into some of the rest of the songs on the record. So again, thanks everyone for listening, sticking through this video, listening to all the cool components and all the fun I had recording it, and hope to see you on the next one.
Saying that don't keep